Welcome to episode 38 of Avant-Garde Entrepreneur. I am so glad that you're here today with me, my friend. Today, we are wrapping up a 7-episode series of interviews with some very special avant-garde entrepreneurs. Like you, they all use business to help others lift themselves to a better way of life, whatever their version of better might be. Like you, they all started with zero and have had loads of challenges. They are all in different phases of their entrepreneurial journey where either you have been or you will inevitably find yourself. And I could say that with near certainty, something, and probably many things that each of them says will resonate with you. It's been such an honor to bring the stories of Aisha Bello, David Wampamba, and Joseph Peer to you. And I really hope that you've enjoyed learning from them as much as I have. The great part is we're not done yet. This is part 2 of my interview with Joseph Peer. He's a seasoned entrepreneur, fitness expert, mentor, and one of the finest examples of a global citizen that I've ever met. Joseph has an MBA and has worked in international and leadership development for multinational organizations. He's highly connected around the world, and he's introduced me to some of the people who are really helping me to help you in bigger and more sustainable ways. And he's helping people tap into their personal power, starting with their physical health. Joseph, along with his wife and children, lived, started, and operated a CrossFit gym in the Middle East for several years. And yes, he does speak Arabic. One of the things that really sets Joseph apart in terms of entrepreneurship, and one of the reasons why I want you to meet him, is that he's taken his business full cycle and has passed it on to the next generation. Today, Joseph is still a business owner, just a different one. He's the owner of Crescent Tactical Fitness in the state of Tennessee in the United States. Not only does he own and operate a gym, but he also coaches others who have a passion for using their fitness business, their gym, as a way to lift the spirits and improve the lives of others, starting with their physical health. And he coaches entrepreneurs around the world, encouraging and mentoring regarding strategy, leadership, mindsets, and efficacy. Joseph is passionate about helping people tap into their personal power through physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual aspects of their lives. And he is graciously and candidly sharing his wisdom with us today. So get ready to take some deep breaths and some mental notes, because you're going to want to remember what Joseph shares with us. Most of all, enjoy it. So you're on this incredible journey. You've met these amazing people, locals probably that you love very much. Obviously, you have the esteem of the Jordanian Special Forces training in your gym. Did you ever think that you would sell or pass on the gym?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not in the moment. That ended up being basically a 6 to 7 year journey of owning the gym. I mean, I had thought about it at times. I even asked myself, well, what would it look like how would I know that it was time to move to another place or to move home, to move back to the United States? And, those are the kinds of things you just don't know. But I think as I look in the Taurat, the Zabur, the Injil, so it's the Arabic for the Old Testament, like the Jewish scriptures, and into the New Testament, the Christian scriptures, and I look, you just realize that that God, he doesn't give you all the details ahead of time, right? Like you're just learning to step and live in faith, one step at a time. And so, but as it became clear that we needed to move home, and I mean, you have the whole thing of March 2020, like we actually planned to move home to the US, own the gym, and operate it from afar. So we had built up our team to a place that it could operate without us, and we began to test it. And one of the tests, believe it or not, was for us to go to Egypt for 2 weeks as a family, and the team had to run the gym without me. And so we had worked up and prepared for that time. And so our family, we went to Egypt, and that was March, I think it was 5 to the 15th of March, 2020. And so we literally start hearing about this COVID thing, and we land back in Jordan and then all the airports shut down within like the next 24 hours. And then the government shuts down all the gyms, right, for 3 months. And Jordan in particular was like a military lockdown. You couldn't walk, you couldn't drive your car, you could only go outside on certain days. So at that point, we had planned and prepared to run it continue to own the gym. But then the gym is shut down and we have to shift everything online and we have to do all new systems, and our team does awesome with that. And then we move home in June of 2020. And at that point, I'm thinking again, okay, well, I don't know. We're going to keep owning the gym until God tells us something different. And then again, kind of through some miraculous circumstances, God connected us with an American guy and two American families and even a Jordanian family that said, we would like to own the gym. And it was right at this moment that, again, through some time of meditating and praying and fasting, that God had said, yes, now is the time and these are the people to continue on the legacy of CrossFit Crescent and Amman. And so that was, then basically a month later, we handed the gym to them. They bought it. It continues to operate and to just love the community of Jordan, and they're fantastic leaders. It's a fantastic community, and I'm getting to go visit them here within the next 2 months again. So I get to go back once or twice a year and get to see, just the amazing excellence and the impact it's having on the community.
You get to go to your other home.
That's right. That's right. And I get to keep trying to practice my Arabic because it goes quickly.
You don't want to lose that. Yeah. Earlier in the year, we had a podcast episode, and kind of the gist was the importance of running your business based on systems and with excellence, and looking at your business as a buyer. What would you want to see? And it sounds like even though you didn't plan on selling your business, you looked at it as a buyer. It was very organized. Systems were in place. Equipment was kept up. You had good relationships in the community. You kind of did all the things.
Yeah.
And what an incredible story. What are the odds of being able to sell in a month and that wouldn't happen if, there certainly were miracles involved.
Yes. Yeah.
But from a technical perspective, that wouldn't happen if things were a mess. It was because you had all of your ducks in a row. Yeah,
that's right. We had we had the financials ready. We had the systems in place, the staff team in place. And part of that too is, one, because we had so much going on between the gym and then what we were doing with the military, that was outside. I had to travel to go to be them. I had to learn how to create systems so that it could operate without me. Mm-hmm. And then as we knew we were going to be moving to the US, same thing, it moved it even to a higher level of how much the team needed to be ready and trained and bought in, and then the systems needed to be in place. And so, so when it came time to actually sell, those things were there. And so it became it's a different kind of discussion at that point for people. And so that is true. Like that was in place, and we wanted to have the systems. And a huge part of that was having business coaches and mentors, and the level of, that's one big thing I wish I had earlier, was a business coach. I didn't get started quite early enough. I wish I had started about a year earlier. But they were able to help me in ways to prepare the business through the different challenges that we had. But in particular, when it came to selling, people that my coaches and mentors were able to really help me walk through that journey.
Mm-hmm. That's so important.
Yeah.
And now, because of your experience with having coaches and having lived it and been through it and walked the path, you coach.
That's right.
Transformational business owners as well.
Mm-hmm. I do.
I don't want to, it's not that I want to not talk about the positives, but the positives are easy to talk about. I'd like to focus on, as you look across the board, I know that every situation is different. I say a lot that what works in one village doesn't work in another village 5 kilometers away. That's why we call it avant-garde entrepreneurship. But would you say, are there things that you see that are consistent hangups or snags or places where the people that you coach, or even people you don't coach, but you observe, are there certain things that you see that people could, if they knew ahead of time, they could avoid?
Yeah, I think, in fact, as I spent time with the couple of business owners that I coach, in particular, one in Morocco and one in Mauritania, I tell them that their business is at in year 2, where my business, it took me 5 or 6 years to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of that is because I'm able to help them not make the same mistakes that I made as a first-time business owner. And it's things like dropping your prices, right? And running fails and discounts. And you realize that helps in the very short term, but it creates real problems in the long term. So I think it's really the biggest thing that I have found is it's understanding what is really needed in the community, and what is it that people can understand enough that they're willing to see it as a value and can really pay for it. And as we can put those two things together, that's where a business or a social enterprise can really thrive. And so just because I'm passionate about something doesn't necessarily mean it's a need in the community or that people could really pay for it. But if we can have all three of those things be true, that there's a need that I'm passionate about, that they can value and they can pay for, then we have something that can make a huge impact in a community, in a person's life, and can really multiply and grow. So I think that's a big part, is just helping people get clarity on what is the need, who are the customers that they want to serve. That's even a better question in some ways. Not only what am I passionate about, but who are the kinds of customers, what are the challenges they're facing, and then creating needs that match that. I think that's a big part of really helping entrepreneurs, grow confident and move forward with courage.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there used to be this thing in the 90s, I think it was, in old business books about, create a problem for your customers.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
You have to do exactly what you said, which is, what do they need? Who do I want to serve? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You talked about having passion for your business. And I think a lot of social entrepreneurs do get into it because they're passionate about something. But especially, and I don't want to put fitness in a box, but when you talk to people who are in the fitness industry, it's like, well, do you work out? Oh my gosh, I just want to go home. How do you balance when you're doing something that you're passionate about or starts as a passion? How do you balance the business side of it, and so that it doesn't become a job, so that you continue to care for yourself, put boundaries up? Right. How do you do that?
I like the word boundaries. I think that is such a big part of it. It really is learning how to set correct systems and boundaries in place so that you don't get burned out. Because I think that's the thing where people lose their passion and things become a job. It's when you reach burnout that is the real issue. Not just that. That's a great example about fitness coaches. I know it's true in the fitness industry and a lot of industries, that without having good systems and good coaching and mentoring, helping you know what systems to work on next, to try to build the right team and the right system, that you end up really being burned out, and you really do lose what used to be a passion and something really enjoyable. Really you're just burned out and you can't do it anymore. And so I think that's where the coach, having a business coach who's been there, who can understand right now, what do you need to make sure that you don't reach burnout, that your family and your business are moving towards thriving. Having a great coach is just such an important part of that they can help point out what kinds of boundaries need to be in place, how to begin to implement them, so that you can begin to thrive little by little. So there's quite a few pieces to that, but I think the big picture really is having a coach and a mentor who's going to help see those things and help call it and help what do I need to prioritize right now so I don't get to that place of burnout.
Mm-hmm. My grandfather used to say, he calls me Trisha instead of Trisha. Trisha, people really don't change that much.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you think about the idea of having a coach, even if someone hasn't been exactly in your role, if they've been in business or if they've been in leadership, they've been around, they've seen what their friends have done over the decades, they've seen what their colleagues have done. There's so much wisdom from that we can get from people who are just a few years older than us, because they've been there and they've seen people, and human nature is human nature, and a lot of things are universal.
Yeah. I think when you find the right coach, it's really transformational. The amount of encouragement they are, and how they help you see the dangers ahead of time. They help you. It's just an incredibly important thing. And I'm so thankful for my two business coaches, one being Ralph Smith, and then Steve Dorr. And Ralph has his own coaching business too. And that just absolutely wouldn't have been able to make it the way that we did without their help and their mentoring throughout. So I would, if you're an entrepreneur out there anywhere in the world, finding someone that can help give you insight is well worth the investment.
Thanks for sharing that. That means a lot coming from someone who's been there, done that, and on his next business.
Well, I feel it's an important thing for me. That's what I love to do too, is just having a few business owners that I can mentor and help them thrive, help them and their families thrive wherever they are. And it tends to be in the fitness industry, but it doesn't have to be in that particular. You can work with multiple kinds of businesses, but it's that very thing, help them thrive as the entrepreneur and the business can thrive.
Mm-hmm. So what are you most excited about now with your life and what's happening in your world?
I think it continues to be that I just love working with business owners that want to be a part of transforming their life, their family, and their community, and helping them just find the unique opportunities that God alone can create wherever you are in the world. And one of my favorite promises is, it says, "We are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works." Excellent works is really the better sense of it. Things that He created in advance for us to do. And so there's just a sense of, right now in this generation and where I'm living, there's an opportunity that He's created me for and that my community needs. And I've just got to find that opportunity. And that's the part that I love, getting to do that with people wherever they are in the world. So I kind of even have said, I think I want to help people develop both the physical and the spiritual strength, which includes what you talked about too, the emotional, the vocational, these two. So it's the physical and the spiritual strength for God-sized tasks wherever you are in the world, and the harder, the better. Mm-hmm. So those are the kinds of people that I love coming alongside of, no matter what country or even what business it is, to see people thrive.
Well, I have seen people thrive under your leadership, Joseph. And I'm going to put a link to your LinkedIn profile in the show notes, because that's where my listeners are. So maybe they can, if you're interested in reaching out to Joseph, whether you are in the fitness or not, you can hear from Joseph that he has a wealth of experience about things around the world. So I have no doubt that he can help you.
Yeah. And in particular, if people are preparing or thinking that they might be moving also from a place like America to overseas, and they've got a business idea and they're trying to think through, well, what would that look like? What does that journey look like? I've written a handbook that I take people through kind of in a 3-month window in that preparation process, and thinking through, what does it look like to learn a language? And what does it look like to prepare my family? And what does it look like to run a business and own a business in that part of the world? So I love to help coach and prepare people for that. In addition to, you may already be living someplace, like I said, the harder, the better. And you're looking for someone to help you walk through this process and again, take it day by day and step by step. Those are the kinds of things that excite my wife and I here and now.
Joseph, if you don't mind, what I'm thinking is if you would mind sharing the name of your handbook, if it's possible, or some way, what I might do is in the show notes, I'll put the name of it and hyperlink to your email, or is it online somewhere?
No, the handbook I just used that just with my clients that I'm actually working with on that preparation level. So it's not something that I really publish out into it's something that just when I'm working one-on-one with clients. But you can find, I've got some things on my Instagram too, and my LinkedIn. Instagram, I'm Joseph.strengthenhim on Instagram. That's my where you can find me at, my username at Joseph.strengthenhim. And again, just that idea of I want to help strengthen your hands to the God-sized tasks that he's called you to in hard places. Mm-hmm. And there's going to need to be a spiritual and a physical component of those two things in order to see that happen. So I would love to meet you if you've got that kind of calling, or maybe you're in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. Love to help people thrive in that process.
Great. Well, to all the listeners, I have no doubt that Joseph can help you. He's an amazing man. So do connect with him either on LinkedIn or Instagram. Yeah. And we look forward to seeing the impact that you have in the future, Joseph, you and your family and all the people you mentor.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for the invitation, and to all you entrepreneurs out there, you feel like you're alone, you're not. And what a great community here with Trisha and her team to be a part of and to learn from and be encouraged by. We absolutely need a community like this. So thank you.